Yo, 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 what is going on, IK Familia? BN, it's your boy, Mr. Kingdom Builder. We are back again for another dope sauce, dopity Infinity Kingdom video today. Again, rounding out our Earth Element series for our most used ToK Skills. Well, I guess technically that is the series, but we got our last one here with Zenobia. And as always, before we kick things off, make sure you guys like and subscribe, comment down in the video, and of course hit those notifications so you guys can get updates on when we have new content coming out, as we attempt daily, but at least weekly is our hopeful bare minimum. Without further ado, let's dive it in. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and show you guys now our top ToK skills here being used on Zenobia. So we'll start at the top, and as you know, all of the ToK skills, the data that we pull is from main Earth marches as the primary troop, and they're all from minimum stats of 160k troop power, if not above, to try and give you the most accurate and up-to-date data that we can. In each video that I do, the data is gathered within that day, if not one day behind. So again, the data is very recent as well. And then we'll show you the last bottom here, just for those that want to do quick skims. And if you want to pause, you're more than welcome to. But let's go ahead and now get into our top 5 most used ToK skills here on Zenobia, starting with number 5. Defense Blessing comes in at 7 times used out of the 45 players that we pulled from. Then we look at the number 4 skill, which is Weakness, coming in at number 10, or I should say being used 10 times. So we're a little more than a fifth. Then we have the top 3 skills, with number 3 being Energy Suppression at 11 times used. The number 2 most used ToK skill for Zenobia, Death Breath, right? A big jump there, plus 10, being used 21 times, almost 50%. Then we have the number 1 most used skill on Zenobia, which is Resist, coming in at over 50% usage out of the 45 data pools that we've done. So kind of a nice cluster here of a plus 4. Then you have the plus 3 up at the top 2, but the big jump here, which is plus 10 and then plus 13 from the number 2 and number 1 most used ToK skills when comparing to the number 3 most used. So really interesting. Now let's go ahead and look in game, and let's take a look at Zenobia and see, as hopefully I don't have to scroll down that far. So here's Zenobia, and let's look at her primary skill. Restores HP, recovery rate is 208.8% up to 360 to your 2 units with the highest troop number losses, and the 2 units will regain HP at a recovery rate of 69.6, but this goes up to 120% for 6 seconds with every successful hit with a normal attack. So essentially, your 2 units that have the lowest HP bar will get healed, and then each time 2 units that are selected for the 6 seconds that land a successful normal attack will get a piece of this recovery for their HP recovery, right? So again, you average it, maybe they get 2 to 3 hits in, right? You're hoping for at least 1 or 2 procs on this, right, for every successful. Now, most of the time, normal attacks are going to be, for the most part, 100% successful. But just given that it depends how many normal attacks are able to be done in that 6-second period based on the immortals that she's giving to, right? So if you give this to someone, if she's able to give this to someone like Alex, for example, on a front line, right, he might get 3 to 4 attacks, and depending on how much attack speed you have, depending if his skill goes off when Zenobia's skill goes off, right? So there's certain synergy elements that can apply to it as well. Now let's look at the stats. So you have strength is 24.8, intelligence 38.3. So magic attack being more focused than, with Zenobia being more magic focused than physical focused, right? Magic attack is 22 points higher than phys attack, and then magical defense, well above, over double physical defense and closer to physical attack. So right, we have more magic attack on Zenobia than we do her being physical oriented. Now let's take a look at the ToK skills, right? The top 3 that we saw being used: Energy Suppression for number 3, Death Breath number 2, and Resist number 3. We're going to start with Energy Suppression, and that is supposed to be the guy with the arrows going down on his head. Almost like one of those hat jugs that you would get at some car rallies or something. Okay. Energy slows the energy regen speed of all enemy troops by 15% for the first 12 seconds of battle. This goes up to 50%, right? So again, good skill, I think energy suppression is more of a great, just universal skill to run on at least one troop within, or at least on one immortal within. Also because it's not an aura skill, right? This is just a really good universal epic skill that at least one immortal should be running in your primary march. Then we look at Death Breath. So the Death Breath is the skull that's going to be up here, or the interesting troopy skull. Every 6 seconds causes physical damage to all enemy units and magical damage once. The rate is 22.5% for both, but it goes up to 75%. So again, Death Breath is, again, one of just those more, again, a good universal skill, right? Because it's every 6 seconds that you're going to have physical and magic damage that's applied, right? Keeping in mind, though, right, you're having every 6 seconds it causes physical damage to all enemy units and magical damage once. So that means that, at least from what I'm reading, magical damage would hit the first time, and then physical damage hits everyone, magical damage hits everyone the first time, then the second time this is used at 12 seconds, and onward, it would only be physical damage. At least that's what I'm taking away from reading this, because it says to all enemies. If it said, it would have said if magic damage was only going to apply to one person, right? So once, I'm anticipating it just means the first time. And that pretty much, then we have resist. Oh god, where's the resist thing? It's the big shield. Here we go. Ball. The big ball. The sphere, if you will. During battle, 3 of your random allied troops will receive negative 15% magic damage for 18 seconds. This goes up to 50%, right? So you're just reducing the magic damage that you take. Again, this is really what I would consider to be a little bit more universal skill focused. It does depend on the matchup you're going against, right? Now, you're still going to take magic damage for the most part, more often than not, from some of the backline units, and even potentially some of the frontline, just depending, because again, they do have magic damage that is, magic attack that is factored into some of the skill usages. But this is really more, I would say, for the more magic damage heavy immortals and elements that you may be coming across, right? Again, you're gonna take magic damage no matter what, because not everyone is focusing on physical damage as far as the immortals' base stats, and then what their primary skills, or I should say their not intelligence, their strength stat is focusing on as well. So again, this is more of what I would look at as just another universal skill that you would apply. I don't know how I personally would rate resist. I do think that overall it is good, just because it does just reduce damage taken in general. So you can never go wrong with that. But it's not something specific where you would find, like a lifelink. For example, like we talked about when we were covering Leonidas, right? That's something a little bit more specific of a skill that you would use primarily when you're looking to complement that specific immortal a little bit more. But this rounds out our top 3. ToK Skills here for Zenobia. Again, energy suppression, death breath, and then resist coming in at number 1. Let me know what you think. Do you like this top 3 ToK skill for the most used that we're seeing on Zenobia right now? Have you found another set of 3 skills that you find complement Zenobia a little bit more? Do you like these just because, again, they're kind of more universal focused as far as their strengths as ToK skills, and you can kind of put them on anyone? Or do you find that some other skills are a little more useful on her? Let me know anything and everything, as usual, down in those comments below. That is it for us. Finally wrapping up our Earth Element series. We will be unveiling possibly who we're going to be doing next on Wednesday or so, if we're able to get a video out early that morning. And that's going to be it for us. Until next time, as usual, we'll catch y'all later.